Production support for Journey Indiana is provided by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up, an annual celebration of Plein-Air Art in Brown County, a bird's eye view of Spring Mill State Park, the story of Rose Island in Clark County, and we go underground with the Bloomington, Indiana Grotto. That's all on this episode of Journey Indiana. Welcome to Journey Indiana. I'm Brandon Wentz, coming to you from Turkey Run State Park. On this special episode, we'll take a look back at some of our favorite southern Indiana outdoor adventures. Up first, producer Jason Pear takes us to Brown County for the annual Great Outdoor Art Contest.
Today is a tribute to T.C. Steele and the whole plein-air art movement. Plein air is the art of artists who paint outside, in the plein air, in the open air. It's the right thing for me, and it's the right thing for many artists, because you see color. You can see color better than if I were to just take a photograph and paint from a photograph in a studio. I decided, I'd come from Ohio here and just to give my tribute to the movement and to T.C. Steele and the other Indiana plein-air painters.
Today is a little bit different because we have a time structure. We can start at 7 and we have to be set up for judging at 2, which really means you need to stop between 1 and 1:30 depending upon how ready you are to set it up on an easel. And that's basically it. You just sit and paint outside no matter what the elements are. I mean, it may seem silly to people to see when there's all this other nature out here that I'm sitting painting a flower in a pot, but it's just what caught my attention. So I thought, okay, then that's what you need to paint. So I set myself up here.
I really enjoy the solitude of it, and I love the reflections with the water lilies. So it's just a personal choice. There's so many great places to paint here. I'm out to have fun. Winning would be wonderful, but there's that camaraderie that is a support system in many ways. So I enjoy that very much.
The whole idea of painting outdoors really came about in the 19th century when they started to make paint in tubes, so you could actually carry it outside. Before that, you couldn't leave the studio. You just had to maybe make sketches and come back to the studio because all paint was made in a studio and it wasn't transportable. So the whole idea of Impressionism came about then because the painters they didn't actually even call them paintings, they called them impressions. Part of the idea was you would go out and you try to capture the light, that moment as it exists in the environment. It's pretty intimidating. It's a little bit like playing company baseball game in Yankee Stadium. But, hopefully there's some karma from Mr. Steele and his wife and the people that painted here before us that can rub off and inspire us to do great work.
Actually, when I sat down here to do this, there was a lot of beautiful light. And that's one of the challenges of plein-air painting is that you have to chase it, or it's going to chase you. So I'm hoping it comes back here in a few minutes. The first time I ever plein-air painted right here on location was T.C. Steele. That was the first year I actually got out and did it on location. It was just so much fun. It's been going on for a long time, and just artists can come out and enjoy the day, and almost like life in the day of T.C. Steele, only a few more artists here and there, but yeah, it's fun. A lot of trails, things like that. You can get away from it, you can be in the middle of it, you can enjoy the nature, or you can, yeah, it's pretty awesome that they're able to share that.
It's always fun to engage with a group of people and see the works that everyone's created in one space. It's beautiful right now. There's a touch of fall and we can capture that. But I love Indiana subject matter in general. I mean, I paint wherever I travel. I paint whether it's Maine or New Mexico or Florida, but I feel so at home as a Hoosier, at home just here in our landscape. The green, the beauty everywhere.
Really, painting is a meditation where you just get into what you see and talk about it with your medium. As you stand here, you see some pretty amazing things like birds. Sometimes the eagle will fly by, beautiful herons, and other stimuli that make you feel really, really good about the environment. I have painted buildings in the past, and TC did too. But today was going to be a beautiful nature day. If you don't stop and look at it, you quit seeing it. So this forces you to really concentrate and have a new appreciation, a daily appreciation when you're painting for what is.
Inspiration can come from anywhere, whether it's discovering the beauty of nature, hearing a perfect song, trying a new recipe, or making home improvements. At WTIU, we bring you programs that inspire, inform, and entertain. But that is only possible through viewer support. We encourage you to reach out now. Call 800-987-9848, go to WTIU.org/donate, or scan the QR code on your screen. And when you do, we have some great ways to show our gratitude. Here's more.
Journey Indiana travels our state, showcasing the people, places, and things that make Indiana home. This valuable local resource is only made possible by viewers like you. With a sustaining gift of $8 a month or more, receive a choice of natural area guidebooks, a guide to the natural areas of northern Indiana, or a guide to the natural areas of southern Indiana. Become a WTIU sustainer at $10 a month or more and receive the Journey Indiana bucket hat. This high-quality hat is the perfect way to show support for local PBS programming while exploring your own unique Hoosier adventures. With a sustaining membership of $25 a month, we'll send you the Indiana Explorer Pack. This includes the Journey Indiana bucket hat and 3 guidebooks, a guide to the natural areas of northern and southern Indiana, and Indiana Off the Beaten Path. Everything you need to plan your next Indiana adventure. All our levels during this program include 2 bonus gifts, the Rand McNally Indiana State Laminated Map and Journey Indiana from Above on DVD or Blu-ray. Your support keeps local educational programming on WTIU. Call or go online now to show your support. And thank you.
As one of our bonus gifts during this program, you'll receive Journey Indiana from Above on DVD or Blu-ray. Let's take a look at a snippet of that program, the story of Spring Mill State Park.
Travel just east of Mitchell in Lawrence County, and you'll see Spring Mill, one of Indiana's oldest state parks. Established in 1927, just a decade after Turkey Run, Spring Mill is home to camping, boating, caves, and more than 10 miles of trails.
And each have something unique and special, but my favorite is Donaldson Cave Hike. So that's Trail 4, and it's a great hike. It's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles. What's nice about it too is it not only leads you to Donaldson Cave, which is a fantastic site, just a view, but also it takes you to the village. So this is a wonderful, rich history here at Spring Mill State Park. Our village it started in 1814 with a very small grist mill. 1817, we get the 3-story limestone grist mill that we still use and run today. So you can purchase corn mill that we're making right here.
In addition to the mill, visitors to the Pioneer Village will find a school, a variety of homes, a distillery, a meeting house, and much more. Travel past Mill Creek toward Hamer Cave, and you'll find a small dam. Built in the early 1800s by the Bullitt brothers, the dam and wooden flume continue to provide power to the mill today.
When they created the park, the first feature was Donaldson Woods, which is old growth forest. But then Lehigh, Portland Cement Company, who owned this land, said, we're going to give you the Pioneer Village too. And that really helped complement the development of the park.
On weekends, we're really busy, and you can stop in and visit the buildings, visit people who are dressed in period clothing, and they can explain what they're doing. And it's just a really great place to come and hear a little bit of the history of this Pioneer Village.
This is probably the most popular stop, but we like to think that the park offers so many different options: the Grissom Memorial, the Donaldson Woods, the caves, and the village. So you have really a number of things that you can see while you're here.
Another popular spot at the park is Spring Mill Lake.
In 2016, we got it dredged, got it a lot deeper, trying to bring back some of the recreational aspects, and we've brought the boat rental back. And the last couple of years, we started stocking trout, and that is real popular in the spring.
Now, as I mentioned, this story was taken from Journey, Indiana from above. This visually stunning hour-long documentary takes us high above locations all around this great state. The DVD and Blu-ray are packed with bonus footage and have a commentary track. You can hear directly from the drone pilots on how they captured these amazing shots. You will receive Journey, Indiana from above on DVD or Blu-ray and the Rand McNally easy-to-fold Indiana State laminated map as bonus gifts with all of our suggested giving levels during this program. Call 800-987-9848 or go to WTIU.org/donate. Up next, producer Adam Carroll takes us to Clark County near Charlestown for the story of Rose Island.
To tell you about Rose Island, I first have to tell you about the park that was here first. The city of Louisville was already a pretty large city at that point. You had a lot of pollution beginning. Coal was used in all the buildings, all the homes, all the businesses had coal furnaces. There was a lot of soot and ash from that. And even in those days, people thought that it was probably best to be away from that, to at least get out into nature, into fresh air on occasion. At the same time, you had a company called the River Excursion Company out of Louisville, who owned and operated several large steamboats. They saw an opportunity with this desire to get out of the city. If they were to create a park setting away from the city that would require a boat trip there, then they could keep their boats making money. So in the early 1880s, they created a park called Fern Grove. And Fern Grove was really just kind of a basic picnic grounds for most of its life. Think of an open, manicured city park. You know, there were shade trees scattered around, lots of picnic tables. It was a very popular destination. Churches would have their picnics here. Eventually, employee picnics for companies were offered here. And before it was over, Fern Grove did become just kind of a destination for the general public. Eventually, the park starts to lose its luster. So Fern Grove is put up for sale, and it remains for sale for several years before a businessman from Louisville decides to buy it. That man's name was David Rose. So in 1923, he becomes the new owner of Fern Grove, and right away really reinvents the park. He has a power plant built on site, so they have electricity now. They start to add games, rides, and other attractions to really make it more than just a picnic ground. The biggest change, though, was on the outside, the name. It is now known as Rose Island. That name is a little bit of a mystery to us and a little bit misleading. Rose is obvious. David Rose, named after his family. Island was a little bit more confusing for us because Fern Grove was never mentioned as an island because it's not an island at all. And this site became the popular destination. And the boats were once again filled with people coming from Louisville, Jeffersonville, Clarksville, New Albany, would take those trips here for a day of picnicking and fun in the park. Mr. Rose was enjoying great success, but then we have the stock market crash and of course the Great Depression. But Mr. Rose continued to put his own funding into the park to keep it open every season, knowing that eventually the economy would get better, and of course it does. And business picks up again. Mr. Rose starts to plan for his next phase of development, including adding things like a golf course and other games, rides, and attractions. But again, he never gets the opportunity to see that because in January of 1937, it begins to rain. And it continues to rain for days upon weeks. And we're left with what's considered the most devastating flood ever seen in our part of the country, what they would have called a 500-year flood. And Rose Island was quite literally underwater from the Ohio River. What was not swept away from the flood was damaged so far beyond repair. Mr. Rose really could not afford to reinvest at that point, so he essentially abandons the park. And in 1940, the land becomes part of the Indiana Army Ammunition Plant, which essentially seals Rose Island off to the outside world until 2011 with the opening of our bridge here and the opening of our Rose Island Trail. When we first opened in 1996, Rose Island was part of that original property. We knew that there was a great interest from the local community to visit. Unfortunately, because of the way the park property was laid out, we had no direct access to Rose Island. So we knew that we would need a bridge to get people here. So it really took a number of years of researching and finding some creative funding routes for that. Fortunately, we were able to find that with the help of grants that were available for the preservation of historic bridges. So the idea then became, if we could find a bridge that would fit in our location, would fit those historic requirements, and is not needed in its original home, that maybe we could get that bridge here. The bridge was built in 1911, and it's an iron construction. So the bridge was quite literally disassembled on site on the White River in its original location, brought here piece by piece. Those pieces were then restored, and it was reassembled here over 14 Mile Creek. A lot of the things that remain were the things that were built with concrete. So of course our swimming pool is a main attraction here. It was a main attraction in those days as well. It's actually the first Olympic length swimming pool built in the state of Indiana. That pool was still full of water in 2011 when we first got access. But there's also a couple fountains and foundations left of concession stands, things like that. But really what was here before was much greater than what we can see today. So one thing you'll find when touring the site on your own is that there's not a lot here. You know, as I said, most of it was washed away by the flood or damaged beyond repair. So we really needed to tell the story in a much better way. Otherwise it was just a trail in the forest. So we have some interpretive panels that have the stories on them in written text and photos. Of course, that's not something that everyone is capable of taking in. So we wanted to offer guided tours as much as possible. But it's a walking tour, typically lasts an hour and a half to 2 hours, even though we hike less than a mile. There's just so much stories to tell that it's a really slow pace walk, just a casual stroll through the woods with our tour guides just telling lots of stories. So every year we still have folks that are from the local community that come out and say, oh, I just heard you're doing these tours. My mother used to talk about these, or I went there when I was a child. I've been able to meet some people over the years who were here and enjoyed it in its original state, and it's pretty amazing to hear those stories and to be able to share those.
We titled that last story Lost in Time, and the truth is stories like these could easily be lost in time if not for WTIU. Through Journey Indiana and our locally produced documentaries, WTIU is preserving the past and present for future generations every day. Untold stories like Major Taylor, champion of the race, reviving the West Baden Colored Church, and over there, Hoosier heroes in the Great War, just to name a few. Help us tell more Indiana stories with your financial support. Start a monthly sustaining donation of $25 and we'll send you the Indiana Explorers Pack. This includes 3 great guidebooks, a guide to natural areas of northern Indiana and southern Indiana, plus Indiana Off the Beaten Path. Now, what I love about this book is that it's broken down county by county so you can discover places near where you live or as you travel throughout our state. Call 800-987-9848 or go to WTIU.org/donate. In addition to the thank you gift of your choice, you'll also qualify for our most popular membership benefit, WTIU Passport. Here's more.
What's the best thing about a passport? Freedom. You know you can grab it and go someplace inspiring, someplace romantic, someplace unexpected.
Fasten your seatbelt.
When you support your PBS station, you can enjoy PBS Passport, a member benefit that lets you stream great performances. Masterpiece. All your favorites when and where you want them. Reach out to the number on your screen or go online to make a qualifying contribution. And away you go.
Not every Hoosier outdoor adventure happens above ground. Producer Nick Deal takes us underground with the Bloomington, Indiana Grotto.
Indiana is full of exciting and beautiful places to explore, from parks to trails to waterways and more. But the next time you're looking for an Indiana adventure, might we recommend you look beyond the great outdoors and instead explore the Hoosier State's great underground.
Indiana is an excellent place to be a caver, so we don't necessarily have the longest caves in the world, but we have some very healthy sized ones. Indiana probably has, I believe, around 8,000 documented caves. It's a really great place to cut your teeth on caving. It's not some of the deepest ones, but we have a little bit of everything. Some of the cave conditions are challenging. A lot of mud and water is kind of what we're known for. I think a lot of Indiana cavers, we like to think that we have a lot of grit, and it's a good place to learn and build those skills.
The Bloomington, Indiana Grotto is dedicated to helping people build those skills and develop an appreciation for our underground spaces. They host monthly meetups at local caves where newbies and veterans can come together to explore Indiana's subterranean wonders.
Anybody who's interested, we help make sure they have the right equipment and help set up trips that'll hopefully give them a successful adventure, and they'll have a good time and want to come back and continue doing it. We want to make sure that people aren't causing any damage to the caves or, jeopardizing relationships with landowners or getting themselves hurt. So that's very important. We want to make sure people can explore caves responsibly.
March's outing required a claustrophobia-inducing crawl through a 12-inch tall tunnel for about 100 feet.
How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good.
It's a reminder that these journeys are not to be embarked upon lightly.
Luckily, caving can be very safe if you're doing it sensibly, and going at a slow pace, wearing helmets, wearing proper equipment, and telling somebody where you're going, and sticking to routes that you know, or being very careful about not taking unnecessary risks. So yeah, luckily our accident numbers are really quite low. I think it gets sensationalized a lot, but it's really quite safe.
Many caves in Indiana are on private property, so much of the Grotto's work happens above ground, negotiating with landowners who have good reason to limit a cave's access.
Unfortunately, for a number of years, a lot of caves have been vandalized, where formations have been broken off, removed. There's been spray paint, which that is illegal, so please don't do that. But that's mostly what we want to work with people to understand the value of caves, both all the aspects from recreation to science to exploration, and how to respect them and be safe in them and enjoy them as more than just dark, muddy holes.
There's certainly no doubt that Indiana caves are much more than dark, muddy holes. But they're also hard to reach, dirty, and hazardous. So why bother?
For a lot of us, can be viewed as an extreme sport. For me, it's more of a meditative experience or a social experience. A lot of people love the exploration of seeing what's around the next corner, and even if whether it's on a map or not, it's still an exciting thing. I can't remember, one of the older cavers used to say, for less than $100 anybody can be like Neil Armstrong, you know, to go out and maybe find something that's never been seen by human eyes before. So that's also a very exciting prospect too for a lot of us.
As you can imagine, it takes a lot of time, crew, and yes, money to produce an episode of Journey Indiana. Now you can help us bring future episodes to your screen. Pick up one of these great thank you gifts, support Journey Indiana, and all the programs you and your family enjoy on WTIU right now. As a reminder, give during this broadcast and you'll also receive 2 bonus gifts. Take a look.
Journey Indiana travels our state, showcasing the people, places, and things that make Indiana home. This valuable local resource is only made possible by viewers like you. With a sustaining gift of $8 a month or more, receive a choice of natural area guidebooks, a guide to the natural areas of northern Indiana, or a guide to the natural areas of southern Indiana. Become a WTIU sustainer at $10 a month or more and receive the Journey Indiana bucket hat. This high-quality hat is the perfect way to show support for local PBS programming while exploring your own unique Hoosier adventures. With a sustaining membership of $25 a month, we'll send you the Indiana Explorer Pack. This includes the Journey Indiana bucket hat and 3 guidebooks, a guide to the natural areas of northern and southern Indiana, and Indiana Off the Beaten Path. Everything you need to plan your next Indiana adventure. All our levels during this program include 2 bonus gifts, the Rand McNally Indiana State Laminated Map and Journey Indiana from Above on DVD or Blu-ray. Your support keeps local educational programming on WTIU. Call or go online now to show your support. And thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us for this special Journey Indiana. Now, if you took the time to join or increase your existing support during this program, thank you. And if you haven't yet, there's still time to give. Call 800-987-9848 or give online at WTIU.org/donate. I'm Brandon Wentz, and we'll see you next time on Journey Indiana.
Production support for Journey Indiana is provided by WTIU members. Thank you.